Hi and welcome to this new video about kernel memory in which I will explain you how you can use Cohere model in your Azure subscription. In a previous video, I demonstrate how you can use Cohere model to have grounding with Command R plus latest model from Cohere. And if you like to use everything on Azure, because maybe you already have your Azure OpenAI account, you can deploy a Command R model directly in Azure. And this is better for simplify even the invoice management, so you can have all your billing invoiced by Azure. And I show you how easy it is to deploy a Command R model onto your Azure subscription. First of all, when you log into your ai.azure.com account, you need to create an hub. And a hub is a collection of projects. And if you do not have any hub in your subscription, you can simply press the new hub and going to specify some information for creating a new hub. You can use a new resource group or you can use an existing resource group. And in the end, you will have one or more hub that are made for containing project. And if you look at the hub, in reality, the hub is something that is in your Azure subscription. So as an example, as you can see from this screenshot, I have a resource group, and into this resource group, there are some storage accounts, some Key Vault, and these are Azure resources that are bounded to your created hub. So each time you create a new hub, you will create some resources in your Azure subscription. After you created the hub, you can create new project. And if you press new project, it only asks you a name. And projects are some sort of boundary where you can include some resources where you want to share, as an example, security and other stuff like this. So it's a container for resources. You have also a nice button called Manage in Azure Portal, where you can click in this button. You can go directly into the hub resource inside your Azure account. Okay, so this is my Jarvis RAG US, and it's an Azure AI hub. And if you want to delete an hub because maybe it's an hub created only for testing, you delete from here. And from this Azure resources, you can manage settings. But actually, the vast majority of the time, you remain in Azure AI Studio and you only work with projects. Now I can select a project and I'm going into the project. And you can do a lot of things inside your Azure AI Studio project. But the most interesting fact and what I'm going to use today is the ability to deploy model into your AI Studio. So you're able to use your Azure subscription to deploy model other than OpenAI model. In this example, I'm going to show you how you can deploy Cohere R+ modules. If you scroll down, you can see a deployments section where every deployment bound to this project is listed. And as you can see, I've a couple of sections. The first one is a series of Azure OpenAI endpoint. I have a lot of OpenAI endpoint, and these are the standard OpenAI Azure that you can have and you can use directly from the Azure portal. And they are usually imported in AI Studio project because you can use it bound together to other model. But the interesting thing is I've already deployed a Command R plus, and let's see how easy it is to deploy in Azure a new model, a large language model that is not OpenAI, it's not Microsoft, but is from an external company like Cohere. Not unsurprisingly, to create a deployment, you press Create Deployment button, and you have, as you can see, a lot of model. And we list more than 1,000 model you can choose from. And you just type command to select and filter all the model that contains command. I've already deployed a Cohere Command R Plus model. Now I'm going to deploy a Cohere Command R to show you how easy it is to deploy model. Clicking the model gives you details, so there is a lot of information. It's the same information you can find on Cohere site, but this information are here for completeness. You can read everything, and so it's everything ready to be deployed. By pressing confirm, you are confirming that you're going to deploy your model. So I press confirm, And it's going to, first of all, bounding the new model to my subscription. If it's the first time you are using the model, it will ask you to create a subscription, and it's made to allow you to pay your model directly from Azure. Now, since I've already done this, I already have a Cohere model in my hub, so I can simply select the project I want to deploy the model in. I have only one project, and so I can click subscribe and deploy. And now you need to wait a little bit for your subscription to this new model to become active. And when your subscription is complete, so you have enabled from the marketplace this new model for your AI Studio, you just need to give a name to the deployment, and I call simply Command R. So nothing complex. I suggest you to give meaningful name and probably give the same name you find in the Cohere documentation so you will not get surprised. And you can enable content filtering as a preview. I'll leave it disabled, and you just press deploy and wait for your model to be deployed. And in this kind of deployment, the deployment model is pay as you go. So the cost of your deployment depends on the number of tokens you are sending. So it's the same thing you are going to use in the Cohere API. So the most token you pass, the most you pay. So it's a pay as you go. There's no payment upfront, or there is no fixed payment even if you're not using the service. You are paid for what you're using. Once your new deployment is complete, you find it into the list of active deployments. Here is my new Command R deployment. I can click so I can find the target URI, so the base endpoint you need to call the API, and a key. Clearly, it's a key that you need to use to authorize to this model, and some other information. And you can have a code sample repository or tutorial, so you have a lot of information on this model. And if you press edit, you can just enable or disable content filtering. You have no other option. So you have also the consume tab, and in consume tab, you have the basic consumption info, and then code in Python, C# or JSON. So you can take this C# code and just go and include into your repository, into your code, and it is ready to be used. If you want to directly test the model without any code, you can press the project playground, you can select chat, and this is the usual chat UI you can use to talk to your deployment. It is my GPT 3.5, you select and you can use, okay, I want to use the new Command R model, and you have system message or other things you can set parameter. So I start by typing in hello, who are you? And the model is answering. The Command R model is a chat model, and it is going to answer to you. So you see how easy it was to open my AI Studio, creating a hub, creating a project, and deploying a model that is not a OpenAI model, but is one of the more than 1,000 models that Azure AI Studio has for you to use. Everything inside in your Azure account, everything, it will be built into your Azure subscription. So you will have only one invoice from Microsoft with all of your service billed only once. So it is also easy to keep track of spending money, because all the money comes from one single invoice in Microsoft instead of having spread your invoice between several companies. Actually, in Cohere, we can deploy not only the Command R and Command R Plus module, but you can also use the Cohere embedding in both versions, the English specialized for English language, and the multilingual one. So you can easily, with few clicks, deploy even the Cohere embedding if you're going to use it. The nice thing about this kind of deployment is that the model is the very same identical model you have from Cohere. So to modify, if you need to modify your code to support Cohere deployed on your Azure AI Studio, usually, as you can see in this example, you only need to add a base URL in your settings. So this base URL is the endpoint you're gonna call within a simple HTTP request to call the endpoint of Commandar Plus. And you just need to have a default api.cohere.ai is the default endpoint for Cohere, the official API. But you can simply change to the endpoint that you got from your Azure OpenAI Studio, and everything in the code remains the same because it's the very same model. And this concludes the video, and I hope you understand how easy it is to use different model inside your Azure AI Studio, just to have all your models, everything you use in a single place with a single invoice, with a single interface to manage everything. And Cohere R and Cohere Command R Plus as embeddings are already available in your subscription. You just need a few clicks to deploy, and the deployment is pay as you go. So you pay only for token you are using. Bye bye, I'm waiting you for the next video.